been a psychologist for years, specializing in severe mental disorders. I've seen a lot of disturbing things, but nothing could have prepared me for what happened during this session. It was with one of my long-term patients, a woman in her early 30s, diagnosed with severe psychosis. She was usually quiet, always looking down, rarely speaking more than a few words at a time. But that day, something felt different from the moment I entered the room. She sat, as usual, with her head down. I started the session like normal, asking her the routine questions. She didn't respond at first, just sat there, staring at the floor. Then, out of nowhere, she let out a laugh, low, hollow, and unnatural. My stomach tightened. Slowly, she lifted her head and looked at me. Her smile. It wasn't right. It was too wide, stretched unnaturally across her face, as if her mouth couldn't hold all of it. Something was deeply wrong. My instincts screamed at me to leave, but I stayed, trying to remain professional. And then she did something I'll never forget. She inserted 2 of her fingers into the corners of her mouth and began stretching her smile even wider. I watched in horror as the skin on her lips began to tear, blood trickling down her chin. She just kept pulling, the smile growing more grotesque, blood pooling in her mouth. I panicked. I fumbled for the emergency button, calling for security, my mind racing, heart pounding. But then, she called my name. Not just my name, but the way my father used to call me when I was a child. I froze. Slowly, I turned to face her again, every instinct telling me to run. Her eyes locked onto mine, her bloodied mouth still stretched into that monstrous grin. And then, in a voice that sounded nothing like hers, she said, "You'll die. Just like your father did." Before I could react, she dug her nails into the skin of her face and started peeling it off, inch by inch. The flesh came away in wet, bloody chunks, revealing nothing underneath, just a dark, hollow void. Security arrived moments later, but by then, it was too late. The image of her blood-stained grin and those final words still haunt me. I can't forget it, no matter how hard I try.